Hey, I'm Becca and welcome to the video. Today's video is kind of going to be a bit of a mashup video. I'm going to do my January wrap up along with a mini book haul, which also counts as my February TBR. For those of you who don't know, TBR means to be read, so pretty much it's the books I plan on reading in February. These are all the books I read in January, so I'm going to be going through them in order. I don't want to give any spoilers because I know I've only done 2 reviews so far on the channel, so you know what 2 of them are. Let me know in the comments below if any of the books I mentioned you want to see a further review on. I'm just kind of going to give my rating on them and just maybe a sentence or 2 on how I felt. So yeah, the first book I read in January was The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I did do a review on this already, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I gave it a 3.25 stars out of 5, but now thinking back I think it would be more so a 3. It didn't really answer many questions I had. I found if I had an extra 30-40 pages it would have been a lot better, just because I felt like the first half of the book kind of dragged and then the second half went super fast. I would have been more satisfied with the ending if there was just a little bit more context in it. So yeah, 3 stars. The next book I read was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and this was my first 5-star of January. I loved this book so much. I thought it was so fun. It was just quirky, interesting, and enjoyable all around. So yeah, I gave that a 5-star, and I've also done a review on this already, so if you want to know more about this book and what it's about along with The Hazelwood, you can check my previous videos. The third book I read was The Good Son, and I rated this a 2.5. For me, it just didn't work for me. I know a lot of people love this book, and I know a lot of people will probably be surprised that I didn't really like it, but I found it was such a serious slow burner. There was a lot of flashbacks that you didn't really realise were flashbacks until like you were a few lines in, so I kind of got a bit confused in the plot line. One thing I did like about this book was it did have elements of gore, it was a thriller, and there was a few twists in the plot line, but it was just a writing style I couldn't really connect with too much. The next book I read was another 5-star for me. I managed to read this in a whole day just because I couldn't put it down, and that is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. And first of all, the cover. I just love anything witchy, so I just absolutely love the pure white cover. I think it looks so nice. I like the spine. The inside is this vibrant orange, which is really nice. I will definitely be doing a review on this book because I just loved it so much, and I feel like I'm so excited for the second one. The author right now is working on the second one, so I'm hoping that in the near future we'll hear some announcements for that. Really good read. I would highly recommend this for anyone who's just looking for a book that just has so much going on, but it works. It has plagues, witches, a forbidden forest, a cult, polygamy, a little bit of romance, and there is a corrupt religious system. So it sounds like a lot, but it works so well. This next book was a bit of a spontaneous buy for me, and that is Our Little Cruelties by Liz Nugent. I ended up giving this a 4-star, and I think I'm gonna stick with that. It surprised me. I found it hard to get into in the beginning because it was a bit of a different genre for me to read. I normally find it hard to jump straight into a whole new genre after reading something that's so heavily fantasy. So yeah, it took me a little bit to get into it, but once I did, I really liked it. It has so much drama, that's one thing, and I'm a sucker for drama. I came across this book because I had to pick up something in town, and I noticed that my local bookshop was open. You couldn't go in and really look around, you could only go for the books that were at the front that weren't blocked off. So when I saw this, one of the workers actually recommended it, and I ran out of books at that point that I had, so I just picked it up. And yeah, it has a really interesting dialogue. It is done in 3 parts. It's very much about 3 brothers at a funeral, and one is lying in a coffin. The book's dialogue is done in 3 parts, so 1 section for each brother. The way the chapters are done are through years, so you are constantly going back and forth through significant events in the brothers' lives. So in each section you'll have overlapping years, so you get to see the other brother's point of view. The book is based in Ireland, so obviously that was part of the reason why I bought it. I ended up really liking this book, so 4 stars. Let me know down below if you will want a more in-depth review on this. I'm more than happy to do a review on any of the books that I mentioned today, so just let me know down below which ones are piquing your interest a bit more. The next book I got was kind of my first miss. It is The Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. I saw this book in Tesco and I was probably picking up snacks of some sort, and I just have a little wander in the book section. I saw this, I loved the spine. I thought the cover was really nice. The back of the book kind of kept my interest a little bit, but nothing further went on from that. I went long gaps without reading it because I found it was too slow of a burn for me. I found the storyline was a little bit all over the place. The way it's done, it's through the dialogue of 3 different characters, and one of the characters I feel like didn't even need to have a dialogue of their own. The ending left me a bit confused. It's a bit far-fetched. This book is basically about a lot of sexual assault attacks coming up to a girl who goes missing. The idea of the book really drew me in, but unfortunately I was left a little disappointed. The last book I read in January was Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. This book was actually recommended to me by someone, so when I did give it a read, I finished it on the 31st of January, so I just got in there, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. There was a few things that I really liked, and there was a few things that I was kind of not fully on board with. It was a very fast read. The way the plotline went, it was like boom, 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 and there you go. There was no real reflecting on past events. It was just constantly moving forward. So any questions you had in the beginning of the book about certain occurrences, you didn't really get answered in the rest of the book. I noticed that the author refers to any adult characters by their full names all the time, and children are just by their first names. I found some of the names hard to pronounce, and I'm not even going to try because I know I won't say them right. I would have preferred that if throughout the book that it kind of got to like first name basis for when they were talking, but that's just personal preference, I suppose. Some people don't really mind that. The movie was called The Golden Compass, the book is called Northern Lights, and the series is called His Dark Materials. But yeah, covered a lot of name ground. This book is full fantasy. It has witches and armored bears, daemons, which are pretty much your spirit animal in a way. Every person is born with one. Up until you're an adult, they will change shape and form to reflect your emotions. Once you kind of hit puberty, your demon picks a form that suits you and will stay that way. It also has kidnappers, Northern Lights. It has an alethiometer, which is the golden compass in the movie. But yeah, it's just a really fun read. So that was all 7 books I read in January. The next part of this video is going to be my mini haul / my February TBR. The first book I want to show you is Black Sun. I know any of you who keep an eye on the book community have probably seen this book go around for the past while, but I thought it was finally time that I order it and give it a shot for myself. I absolutely love the inside. It has a map. It's book 1 of a trilogy. If I really like it, I'll definitely be wanting to read the rest of the trilogy. I think I'm gonna really like it. I'm hoping I really like it. Everyone seems to really like it, so that tends to be a good sign. The next book I want to show you is House of Leaves. So I'm really looking forward to this. I love anything scary. I love horror movies. I want to read some more horror books. I have some OG Stephen King books coming, but yeah, I am a sucker for anything horror. And I love the fact that the cover is cut short so you can see the inside, and I love the art on the inside too. I noticed that some of the pages are like laid out kind of weird, which I find kind of cool. It's completely blank, bar some text there and 2 words right there, and I just find that really interesting. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think it'll be a fun read. It's a very long synopsis. I'll read the bottom part of the synopsis. So the story remains unchanged, focusing on a young family that moves into a small home on Ash Tree Lane, where they discover something terribly wrong. Their house was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside. Of course, neither Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist Will Navidson nor his companion Karen Green was prepared to face the consequences of that impossibility, until the day their 2 little children wandered off and their voices eerily began to return another story of creature darkness, of an ever-growing abyss behind a closet door, and of that unholy growl which soon enough would tear through their walls and consume all of their dreams. So super creepy, super excited. It's a chunky book, but because of how some of the pages are laid out with not much text, I don't think it will actually be that long of a read. I know February is normally a month where everyone kind of reads romance because of Valentine's Day, but I love a bit of horror. No matter what the occasion, if I can pick up a thriller or a horror book, I will. The next book I got was The Deep, which is so much smaller than I thought it was. I love the cover. I do quite like mermaids, so I think that this would be a really nice read. I say I would read this in a sitting. I'm very interested to see how well it is done, considering it is the size of my finger. Yeah, I'm very excited for this. The next book I have is The Library of the Unwritten, and I've noticed that a lot of the books I have ordered or collected are black and red, so maybe a bit of a theme going on. The idea of this book just seems fun. I'm going to really enjoy it. The back of the book says, every book left unfinished by its author is filed away in the unwritten wing, a neutral space in hell presided over by Claire, its head librarian. Along with repairing and organising books, her job consists of keeping an eye on the restless stories, whose characters risk materialising and escaping the library. When a hero escapes from its book and goes in search of its author, Claire must track him down and capture him with the help of former muse and current assistant Brevity, a nervous demon courier Leto. But what should have been a simple retrieval goes horrifyingly wrong in a chase that threatens to reshape the boundaries between heaven, hell and earth. It just sounds fun. When I read it, I just thought it would be such a fun read. I can imagine it being funny. I know it might not be, but just the fact that in hell there's a librarian called Claire, I just find humorous. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to reading this. The last book I have to show you is one that I'm sure loads of people have heard about, and I wanted to get the collector edition of, and I'm very glad I did, because I am not disappointed with how this looks and just how beautiful it is. It's honestly a stunning book, and that is The Six of Crows, the metallic red, the red sprayed edges, and then the black cover. That is just everything I want in a cover. I've heard loads of good things about this. I'm excited to read it. I know there is the second book already out, which is called Crooked Kingdom, but I want to get the matching collector's edition, so that's currently out of stock. So when that comes back in, I will definitely be getting it. As far as I'm aware, it is black with silver instead of red, and I think it has grey or black sprayed edges. The inside of this book has a map, which I always love. I love those little extra touches where when books add a map, so you can really get an idea of the land that they're in and it sets the universe for them. Here's another map at the back, and one of the main things about this book that I love is that it has actual illustrations for the characters. So instead of making up an image in your head, I'll try and do it this way. So instead of making up images in your head, you actually get to see how the characters are intended by the author, which I really love. And then the last one here. Basically, this book is about 6 dangerous outcasts, one impossible heist. Together they must be unstoppable if they don't kill each other first. It's nothing like I've read before, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. So yeah, they were all the books I have. That is my January wrap up, along with a mini haul and my February TBR list. In the comments below, let me know what books you've read in January or what books you're looking forward to reading this month. Also, if you want any reviews on any of the books I've mentioned, let me know which ones and I'll be sure to make one in the future. That's all from me right now, and I'll see you in the next video.